The Mountain Laurel Designs Burn backpack has been my only backpack for the last 4 years and 2,000 plus miles. I figured with all that time and distance, I would give my thoughts on the backpack. So what I'll discuss is the specs, the sizing, the construction, the modifications that I made to it, and then the dislikes or things that I'm not so fond of. So on the specs, MLD says this thing is a 38-liter backpack. I think it's closer to 35 liters, and I'll explain that in just a moment. So first off, MLD on their website says that the main compartment of the backpack is 25 liters, and then you have a 5-liter extension collar. So you've got 25-liter main compartment plus the 5-liter extension collar. That gives you 30 liters. All right, so 30 liters, and then the main pocket is 3 liters. My issue comes in on the side pockets. MLD says that the side pockets are each 2.5 liters. I just don't see how. I can stick a 2-liter water bottle in there, a water bag, and you can see that the pocket only comes up halfway up that 2-liter water bag. So if this was a full 2.5 liters, that 2-liter water bottle bag would just disappear in the pocket, and it does not. So those pockets are clearly, by my estimation, just looking at them, roughly a liter. All right, so this is how we get to the 35 liters. The 30-liter main compartment, 3 liters in the main pocket, and then 2 1-liter side pockets. That totals up to 35 liters. And I think that's a fair representation of the volume / carrying capacity of this backpack. But on that whole volume capacity of backpacks, if you go and look at all the different pack manufacturers, everybody specs their backpacks out differently. I really wish all these pack manufacturers just make the main body, right? Whatever you've got a pack there, whatever that sack is, whatever its volume, whatever its capacity is, that is the marketing volume for that backpack. So now on to the physical dimensions. The pack fully unrolled is 28 inches. On my pack, from the bottom of the pack to where the shoulder straps are sewn in, that's 19 inches. And that's what MLD calls their torso length. So on my particular backpack, the torso length is 19 inches, and I ordered the medium. The backpack at the bottom is roughly 10 inches wide, and then you've got it roughly 6 inches thick. Now as the backpack goes up, there is some taper on it, so it gets a little less wider and a little thinner. Not by much, but just enough so that the backpack rides a little better. I know it seems like that might not make a huge difference, but it's really nice. It's actually a really thoughtful design feature. I don't know if anybody else does this, but you definitely kind of notice it on the Burn. The spec weight on the Burn is 467 grams, and that's minus the sternum strap and any extra bungee cords. The sternum strap weighs 14 grams, and my backpack, when I weighed it with the sternum strap, it was 480 grams. Now, I've done some modifications to mine. I've also seam sealed it, so we'll discuss that in a minute. Now, regarding sizing and comfort, we'll talk about the sizing of the backpack. I know how I will like my backpack to ride, and I like for my backpacks to ride up a little higher on my back. I don't like them to be really low on my buttocks. I like them to be up higher from my waist, basically up. So I intentionally ordered down a size based on MLD's recommended sizing on their website. I'm 6 foot 1 inches, and on their sizing recommendations, you're supposed to order based on your height, and based on somebody that's 6 foot 1 inches, I should have ordered the large. Well, I because I knew how I imagined I wanted the backpack to fit. I intentionally ordered the medium, and it fits exactly how I imagined how I wanted it to fit. It rides up kind of nice and high on my back when I want it to. And if I want it to be a little lower, I can just loosen it up, and the pack will slide a little further down on my back. They do mention there that they recommend that you order based on your height, and that if you're in doubt or between sizes, they recommend that you size up. I don't know about that. I think the medium, they spec the torso out at 20 inches. I don't know if that was the torso length for the person or the backpack length for the person. Because note that my MLD burn, the torso, actually measures 19 inches. And my actual torso length, when I measure from the vertebrae down to the top of my hips, my actual measurement's 20 inches. Okay, so just bear that in mind when you're sizing yourself for this backpack. MLD does say that if you get the wrong size, they do free exchanges or they'll refund it as well. Okay, so you always have that option. The only problem with that is they don't stock these things. They're made to order. So if you're going to return it, you're going to have to wait probably another 4 to 8 weeks. So keep that in mind when you're ordering. As far as carrying capacity, the website says, like most ultralight backpacks say, 25 pounds is about the maximum. 20 is ideal. I have carried this thing loaded up to 30 pounds. Long food carry, long water carry at the same time. I'm not going to say it was terribly comfortable, but it wasn't excruciating. It definitely rode okay. And then as you're walking through the day, you just kind of adjust things, right? Make adjustments, loosen things up, tighten things down, rearrange things. You can make it work. It definitely rides really well at 25 pounds and under. It's got nice thick shoulder straps, and they've got the S straps, which I like. So everything about the pack is really well thought out. It just kind of comes across. I think the straps are 1/2 inch, and they've got the 3D spacer foam underneath there. So it makes it really comfortable all the way down. I have not had any rubbing or chafing. Of course, your shoulders get kind of tight when you're just starting out on a hike and everything's fully loaded, but that's with any pack. Onto the construction. 2 words: bulletproof. This pack, and you'll see almost everybody says the exact same thing if you look at any other reviews. The construction quality on this pack is absolutely 100% top notch. I have not had anything pull out. I cannot say that about other backpacks that I've owned. There's no loose threads. They put a lot of bar tacks and reinforcements on all of the stress points. He kind of makes a note of that on the website about this backpack. So you can really tell that a lot of care and skill went into the assembly of these backpacks. Just, you can tell everything was cut nice, everything was sewn, the stitching is absolutely perfectly straight, that's no easy feat if you've sewn. Once you know how difficult it is to do that, and you've got 3, 4, 5 layers of stuff that you're trying to keep together, absolutely top-notch quality. You won't have any problems with the construction on these packs. The only thing I was kind of disappointed about construction-wise was the pack, the DCF or their Ultra packs are seam taped, and they taped it, but the quality of the tape, it's that PET tape, I guess, is what they're using. They're using a little wider and thicker version than what I used. If you go back, if you watch the rain jacket video that I made, I talked about that PET tape that I got, and I was kind of disappointed in it. I don't know, I'm sure that there's purposes for it, right? That feels what this is like. The adhesive on here on the tape just doesn't bond really well to the face that film fabric that is on the dyneema that's on the inside of the pack. It peels off really easily. There are places where it wasn't fully taped down, especially down at the corners. I mean, it came in and the tape was all balled up essentially. So that was kind of disappointing. I was just kind of expecting it to be dyneema tape, which is horribly expensive, and I get it. And even before I seam sealed this backpack, it had been out I had taken it out on hikes, and it got rained on, completely soaked. And with that tape, there was still no water in the backpack, all right? So the seams are sewn up basically so tight, you're really not going to get any water through the seams. The only entry point is going to have to wick through the actual threads. And yeah, I just didn't find that to be a problem. I have since seam sealed it. MLD did send a container of, I think it was like quick dry seam sealant. It was free. They just sent it with the backpack. I did not know that, and I emailed MLD, hey, somebody stuck something in the shipment that I didn't order. It's a bottle of seam sealant, and Ron said, no, we send that for you to seam seal it. So that was extremely thoughtful. So that's my only construction disappointment right there. Now, as far as modifications, now from MLD, the way you close the package, you roll it down, and then there's 2 straps on each side, compression straps that you quick release buckles. You snap in, and then you cinch it down, and then you've got a strap across the top, a Y strap, to cinch that down. Ever since I've got this pack, those side compression straps, I just was not a fan. Nothing wrong with them. They definitely keep the water out. They definitely keep the pack cinched down. It was just, they were always in the way. So whenever you stop at camp or you stop for a break and you have to get inside your pack, you have to unclip them, undo the buckle at the top, unroll it, and then unsnap it. It's 2 snap closures at the top. I don't know. It just felt too much. So I always kind of wanted to get rid of them. I just didn't want to mess with the artistic vision of the backpack, right? It was like, that's the way it came. That's the way it was designed to be used. So that's the way I was going to use it. Something happened several weeks ago. I was on a short hiking trip, and I'm unbuckling those things, and I just said, you know what, I'm getting rid of this. So I got home, and I cut those buckles off completely, and I just put some bungee cord across 2 eyelets with a cord lock with a little hook on it, and that works great. I've gone out for a hike, and it's just a little more enjoyable. I don't know how to explain it. I think just all those little micro movements that you have to do throughout the day, those add up. Those add up really fast, and they just get tedious. I guess that's what I'm looking for. It just becomes tedious. So I don't have that. There's that tediousness is gone. So also my trekking pole's not flopping over because I have to. That strap was holding my trekking pole in. Now my trekking pole's not flopping over, and I don't have to. It's just much simpler, much simpler. Simple. I am a fan of simple, and yeah, I've got it on the video, but I don't know. You know, it's for me. It honestly is just the little things in life. They just put a huge smile on my face. So yeah, I did that, and it makes me so happy. So now on to the dislikes. We've already discussed the tape. That's kind of nitpicky because it's kind of a moot point, as I talked about. So the first main thing is the entry point for that main pocket. Man, that thing is tight. It's just gosh darn tight. I've actually bruised the top of my hand getting my cold soak jar out, pulling out my peanut butter jar, it's just really, really tight. I'm not sure if it's going to show up on the video, but you can see here's the bungee with the lock on it. This thing is basically fully released, and you can see how gathered it is. When this pack is fully stuffed, I mean, you just have just enough room for your hand to kind of fit in there, and this thing is just tight and it's just scraping on you all the time. So you really have to like pull it out with one hand and then go in if you don't want to just keep chafing your hand. Now the positive of that thing being so tight, I have never had anything fall out of that pocket. Not once, ever. Which I guess is a good thing. I've taken some tumbles and spills, quite a few of them with this backpack on. I've had a water bottle come flying out of the side, but nobody's going to stop that. But nothing has ever come out of that main pocket. But just loosen it up just a little bit, just a tad. Just add a little more bungee there, and then we can cinch it down. I wish that's what they would do. Second, the side pockets. Again, this is kind of a testament to the quality of the construction, the precision of all the cuts and everything. The side pockets are really tight, which again keeps stuff from flopping around and falling out. The issue with that is that when I first got the Burn, I also had a Z-Packs medium plus stuff sack that I stuffed my sleeping bag into. So when the sleeping bag was stuffed in there and that thing was really compressed down, it was just about as wide as the backpack and about yay big around. And it would go down in there. And it fit really tight. And then as everything kind of decompressed in that stuff sack, it would put pressure on the outside of the backpack where the pocket was. And I could physically not push 2 water bottles in there at the same time. I since got rid of the stuff sack quickly. I found out that although it's insurance to keep my bag dry, it took just so much more time for my bag to fluff back up because it had been compressed so tightly. The down had just been squished, and I realized that was one of the reasons why I was a little bit colder at night on the really, really cold nights. And it was just one more thing I was having to do. So we get back to that simplification thing. I was having to stuff it and then compress it and then pull it out, let it fluff back up. Now I just throw it in there loose inside my Nylafume pack liner, and the backpack can mold and shape now, whereas before that ball of sleeping bag was so tight that it just wouldn't press in. It actually has made it comfortable carrying the backpack as well, having the sleeping bag just completely loose in there. So that would be my recommendation. If you're stuffing your sleeping bag, you might want to think about not doing that. Finally, I really wish this thing had a bottom pocket. That would just be nice. I have thought about adding one. I haven't quite figured out how to do it and have it be semi-elegant, because there's no seam from the bottom up the back. That's just one solid piece of fabric, and I would need to sew something right there for one of the edges of the bottom pocket. And because there's no seam for me to rip, there's nothing to lock it down. I haven't really figured out how to do that, so I don't know if I want to do that or not. But I really wish that was an option now, because those things are, I can only imagine how convenient what they would be. And now with like the ultra mesh or the venom mesh, I think the fabrics are durable enough that they would last on the bottom. And that's about it. In summation, I actually love this backpack. I know I say that about everything. I love the Pro Trail. I love the booties. But I tend to find things that work, that I think are going to work for me, and then I use them because I love them. If I don't love something, yeah, I'm not using it. I'm doing something with it, and I'm replacing it. Because I'm out hiking to enjoy myself, type 2 fun, enjoy myself. And you've got long days, it's physically stressful, you're dealing with weather. Let's be honest, none of us get really great nutrition when we're on trail. The last thing I'm going to have to worry about is my gear. If my gear's not working for me, I'm going to change things up to try to get something to work for me. So if you see me using something, it's probably because I love it. And the MLD burn just kind of ticks all the boxes. That's a summation on the Mountain Laurel Designs 35-liter backpack. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I will do my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and do some hiking.